my name's Carrie Henshaw from Key Associates, and I just want to do a small tip on two things that come up a lot in regards to writing purchase agreements up. One of them is possession. What's typical here in Southern Indiana is that 30 days after closing is possession time for the new buyer. If you live here and are born and raised Southern Indiana or have sold a house before that, it's very normal and it's not a big deal. However, if you are moving maybe from outside of the area and you're putting an offer in on a house that is, let's say in Southern Indiana and you're from the East Coast and you put possession at closing, that is what would be very typical because you're not, you may think it's crazy that someone's gonna live in your house for 30 days free of rent, basically. So what I do in this regard, because it does come up, is maybe just negotiate a shorter possession time so that you can still get the house closed out and get paid, and then that seller can maybe typically go out and buy another home. But in general, you know, there's ways to negotiate around it, but I just wanted to give like a warning for the people that may be listening to this that are not from our area. 30 days possession after closing is very typical. Another thing that is very different here in Southern Indiana is taxes. The state of Indiana is in arrears with taxes. So from a buyer and a seller, because even though you may live here, you still get confused when we get to closing or when I'm providing you the net sheet. We are a year behind. So taxes right now, for example, in 19 are due in 2020. So what that means when we get to closing, for example, depending on how we assume, because different counties do things differently. If you're in Warwick and Vanderburgh County, they do a lot of assuming. In Spencer, Du Bois, and Perry areas, they do a lot of prorating. So if you do prorate, what that means is you typically could be paying possibly a year of taxes at closing and giving credit to the buyer because taxes are a year behind. So you're really giving them credit for taxes to be due in the next year, for example, 2020. If you are in the other counties that do assuming, what's typical is that the seller would pay next installment that's due, and then the buyer would assume taxes thereafter. So taxes, even though you're all in Southern Indiana, they are done a little differently. So I thought I'd at least point that out. But in addition, just two little areas that are different things that pop up on the purchase agreement. Hope this helps.